What was supposed to happen on the fake punt defensively that obviously didn't happen?
You vote for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was trying to be aggressive on one particular side, trying to cave that side and to give Dominic an opportunity to catch it. And on the other side, just making sure that, that rugby-style punting that a lot of teams use, that you have to have an edge. I don't know who yet at this point, who didn't have the edge or whatever, but that was huge. I think the game just boiled down to possessions, the amount of possessions. When you have, 3 turnovers, that play, that fourth down play right there, resulted in another possession for them, and it makes it difficult because that's it's an offense that, that's been pretty good because of the guy that's running it. So. It was unfortunate, and we just got to coach it up better and do better, and still be aggressive, but at the same time be smart about how we do things.
Can you tell us about the decision to go with Watford and what you felt you brought to the table?
Without having the conclusions or the confirmation medically about Michael, I think he got in his midsection area, got hit. And went in at halftime, came back out, thought he could go, and obviously, on the last pick there, he showed that he couldn't. So that's more the reason why David went in and started the game that way.
So obviously it depends on Michael's health, but is the quarterback job up for grabs at this point?
And that's not even a question right now because the quarterback is Michael Rocco, and I'll find out what's wrong with him physically, and then after that we'll talk about if he can perform. I'm worried about the young man's health right now. If he can't, then obviously that question is who's going to be the quarterback for this upcoming game. But right now there's no controversy. I'm more about the young man right now.
How impressive was the 2-point conversion play where David just kept it alive?
That was an athletic play. Obviously you don't want the drama with all that, with having to escape, the rusher that's coming at him. But, it showed some athleticism and some wherewithal. And Chris Bird just got across the goal line because that's all he needed. And then David made the throw on the run. So that was a good play. And, we need more plays, like that from everyone on the team.
Mike, on the 3rd and 23, they ended up getting 41 yards. Did you get? I know it was on the other side of the field from
just the last couple plays there.
Yeah, that screen. Did you get a good look at that?
I haven't looked at it yet, but you ask, what happened, and obviously it was a fake double screen. Look one way, quarterback very crafty, looked the other way, then started backing up. The defensive lineman started to pursue him, and then he just with the touch of a good quarterback, just kind of threw it out to, I believe it was Lampley, number 1. We need to have a guy that sets the edge so the pursuing defense can get the guy. The defensive line needs to retrace their steps and turn back towards the line of scrimmage because of that. And they executed the play perfectly, and we got sucked in and drawn in, and then the run after the catch, guys falling, trying to tackle him, and he's elusive. So. And he's done that in all the films we've seen, but obviously that was a tough one because we stop him right there. Then we got a great chance to do some things.
Can you tell us what your message to the team was after the game and why you stayed on the field?
George Morris, our football chaplain, just they always stay at the middle of the field and say a prayer before they leave. But then as we all got there and all came out of the locker room and gathered around, just talked about. Last week, close but not close enough. This week, close but not close enough. In order to change the perception of this program and this team, that games like that, we got to come out and win games like that. And it's one of those things that the taste of losing doesn't taste very well when you're at home. But you got to do better. You got to make those plays. You got to get the coverages. You got to stay on sides. Just different things like that. And we just wanted to reemphasize that, preparation for this week's upcoming opponent has to start in the film room, the practice field, and everything that they do to rededicate themselves to. Hey, listen, these are close games, but you can be on the other side of a close game by just executing. And so that's basically what what we talked about, and that's what we're going to work on this week.
Coach, on some of those big plays, maybe the half dozen that really hurt the defense. Other than those, it really seemed that they clamped down. How much of that was due to the matchup problems posed by the up-tempo offense, whether stamina matchups or otherwise?
I don't think that part of this, the hurry-up tempo was that much of an issue, because I thought the defense did a good job of at least getting their calls in and knowing where they're supposed to be. They just out-executed their offense versus our defense and the call that we had that particular play. You always have to have a guy setting the edge. You always have to know your coverage responsibilities and things like that. So there was a couple times of that hurry-up tempo that they got us. They got us on a third and short quarterback sneak and a couple other things. So. Things we've seen on film, but you go against your show team or scout team in practice, you can't even duplicate or replicate that in the game, because that's what they do. They're good at what they do, and their quarterback runs the show for them, and that's why he's as good as he is.
At the outset of the regular season, you had said that if Rocco was either ineffective or got injured, that Matheny would be the guy to go in. What led to the decision to go with Watford today instead of Ross? Well,
David had been in the game, already, and so if he wasn't going to perform well, then Ross was he was next. He was ready, ready to go in. But David did a nice job with the drive and scoring the touchdown. So at that point, we were going to stay with him. If he'd got in there and got the jitters, or if they were blitzing or whatever like that, and he couldn't handle it, then we would have got Ross an opportunity. But David went in there and he handled the offense well.
Mike, it seems as if you have the potential to be a very good team in the kicking game. Today you had some punts get past you. You had that punt down at the one, which I'm sure when you look at it, you'll probably go bananas. But also you kick it out of bounds on the last, after your last score. Do you have to get? It seems like you're a little sloppy right now in the kicking game.
I don't know if sloppy is the word. It goes back to execution. And both of us had one punt. They had 6 yards and we had an 9-yard return. I think that a lot of times it's the product of some of the punting system where they rugby style and they kick the balls at end over end, and whether you run and catch it or if it hits and it bounces. And I think maybe Dominique could have made a decision to grab one of those bouncing kicks right there. And like I said, I understand about the punt situation, but we do. I mean, we have to practice. We have to practice smart. We have to practice schemes that the guys can do. Coach Poindexter works hard at trying to come up with schemes and things that can help us. It was much better on the kickoff return. We finally, started guys catching the ball and going downhill and trying to get across the 20 to the 30-yard line. So we improved there. But a guy like Jimmy. You want better punts. You get maybe a 31-yarder, a couple 31-yarders, I think. A guy like Chris Hinkabine, I mean, he's kicked that ball I don't know how many times, and sometimes it's just amazing that the kick occurs and it ends up out of bounds when he's done a phenomenal job for us. So, we just we understand and recognize the mistakes that we made, and know that we have to correct those mistakes if we're going to get, anywhere this season in order to be a good football team.
Our locker room is starting to empty out, so we're going to have Coach Poindexter and Coach Reed. They're coming in right now, available, and then we'll have other people in just a moment.
Mike, Chris made a lot of big catches, tough catches today. You surprised on that final drive that he didn't come down with that ball?
Well, I haven't looked at the tape. It looked like maybe it might have been a little bit behind him, but if your hands are on it, he's the type of player that, look, I got to catch that ball. So, it's a disappointing end to a drive that could have led to something, fantastic again for this team. But and that's what I'm talking about. Fourth and whatever it was, you make the play, you have a chance to keep on going. We don't make the play, and now we're sitting at a loss and trying to find out, okay, what do we do? So we're not going to point fingers at anybody. No one's going to walk with their head down. I mean, this team is a young team that's moving forward. We're going to play better next week. And that's what we got to do. That's the whole mindset here.